Welcome to my brand new series called MMO Versus. This is where I pit World of Warcraft versus Guild Wars 2. A little bit of back history on this idea. I realize there's a lot of people who do versus one way or another, but I decided to put my 2 cents into this. And so, a little bit background on me. I have played World of Warcraft on and off since vanilla. I kind of skipped from Lich King all the way to Legion, literally right before Legion launched, so I skipped quite a few expansions there because I just fell out of World of Warcraft for a time. It happens. And Guild Wars 2 I have played since pretty much Guild Wars 1, around the time Eye of the North hit, which was the final expansion of Guild Wars 1. I played through every single one of the expansions, had a blast doing so, and entered Guild Wars 2 around the time Guild Wars 2 came out. Quit Guild Wars 2 for a time to go to the Old Republic, and then returned to Guild Wars 2 and deleted my original tune. So I have no tune to say, yes, I've been around since the launch of Guild Wars 2, but yes, I have been around since the launch of Guild Wars 2. This first video is going to be part 1 of my mount versus. Why part 1? Because I really want to keep these at a very easy to view length, and part of this video is being taken up over what this is going to be over. For Guild Wars 2, mounts are a brand new feature. They came out with the brand new expansion Path of Fire, and a lot of people are just enjoying them now. With World of Warcraft, mounts have been around since vanilla. They've changed since vanilla, such as you can now access them at level 20 instead of level 40, and it's a little bit easier to access them. But we're not going to get into how it was very hard back in vanilla to access mounts. That is very much besides the point. We are going to be looking into anything from the mechanics of the mounts down to how to get them throughout the game leveling, as well as if you're a veteran player or a brand new player to both games. This first video is broken up into 3 sections. New players who just bought World of Warcraft and Guild Wars 2 Path of Fire. I'm being very specific about that because Path of Fire is the only one that you get mounts in. With number 2 being veteran players who have all their unlocks account-wide, which means for World of Warcraft you have the achievement for getting all the heirloom gear, and for Guild Wars 2 you have all of your masteries, pretty much, minus maybe Season 4 masteries. And also how mounts are introduced to the player. Each of these 3 points is worth 1 point to each MMO. First up, being a brand new player to both Guild Wars 2 and World of Warcraft. You just logged into World of Warcraft. It is your first time in this very old MMO. You're looking forward to the daunting task of leveling from 1 to 110, and you see a player on a weird motorcycle thing. They're being carted around by an NPC, and you're trying to figure out how they got this. You have no idea. You whisper them. They explain this is an heirloom mount, which is given to players who have heirloom unlocks. So instead, you start leveling. You slowly make your way up to level 20, and ping, you get that level 20, and you see a new quest pop up. It just randomly pops up out of thin air, and it tells you to travel to your capital city in order to learn your first writing skill, which is called apprentice writing. You are then able to purchase apprentice writing if you have the gold, as well as your very first mount. Mounts in World of Warcraft increase your speed. This new mount is no exception. You now feel as if the world around you is wide open as you tear up that ground running towards your new quest. Now on to Guild Wars 2. You're a fresh level 1 character. You just logged into the game, you're new to the game, you don't have any masteries, you just bought Path of Fire because it looked cool and you wanted those mounts. You see when you first log in your starter zone, or moreover your starter story area, which is your tutorial area. You may see a character with max mastery standing next to you. Be forewarned, that person just used tomes to level all the way up to 80. You run on through, nothing's different. Finally, you get out of the prologue zone, and you see your first player zoom past you on a raptor. It's very cool. You desperately want that raptor. You level all the way up to 20. Nothing happens. And then you keep on leveling, and finally you hit level 80, and you are sent off to the Crystal Desert. At long last, you are able to mount your raptor. You go through that story instance, and you finally gain that raptor as your own. It is the first of 5 total mounts, and you are able to leap across short distances. It's still not the very long distance you saw at the beginning, but hey, you got your raptor. You're excited. You get to start that grind for the full-on mastery of that raptor. World of Warcraft takes this one for giving players mounts early in game. It was designed to have mounts in game, and thus the access to them happens a lot sooner for players. World of Warcraft has 1 point. Now we go on to the veteran players. For this, we are looking at players in World of Warcraft who have full heirlooms and the achievements for them. And in Guild Wars 2, we are looking at maxed mastery level players. Or close to max. In World of Warcraft, you just decided to re-roll, or make a fresh alt. Skipped the cutscenes and poof, you're in game, moving your controls and getting everything ready. But first things first. You open up your panel and search for your heirloom mount. Pop it right on the bar and you're ready to roll. Through all of your first quests, the mount is available from level 1 up. Now, in Guild Wars 2, you just decided to re-roll or make it a fresh level 1 alt. You're in the instance, the prologue instance. It's the same exact as normal, you're just running through it very slowly because you decided to re-roll on a tune that doesn't have swiftness for some odd reason. And then you make it to the very end, you decide to exit, and poof, you're out of the game. Of course you click the button, because who doesn't want to level up to 2 the instant that they're out of the instance? And now you have access to all of your mounts, all of your mastery of those mounts, and everything to do with them. Looking at this one, because of the ease of access in both games to mounts at level 1 and level 2, because Guild Wars 2 you can't use it until level 2 unless you decide, hey, I'm not going to level up at the end of this. I am going to say both actually tie for this, because even though in Guild Wars 2 you have the full access to the mounts and all of their abilities, and in World of Warcraft you are still on a very, very slow mount that is even slower than your apprentice level riding, you still have a mount from the get-go, and it still increases the speed of your game and how fast you're running through all of that. So it is going to be a tie between World of Warcraft and Guild Wars 2 for the veteran players. For the third and final part of this first video, we are going to do how mounts are introduced to players. In World of Warcraft, the first time you are ever going to see a mount is when you log in as a level 1 character. If you're a new player, it's going to be the first time you ever see an heirloom mount. Or if a random upper level player is there, you're going to probably see them mounted. And then in Guild Wars 2, the first time you see a mount is right after the instance when you see a veteran player flying by on your raptor, or you decide to get on your raptor there, if you're a veteran player. However, for a new player, we're going to look at how these mounts are introduced to you, how you first get your first mount. Back in vanilla, you had to remember, hey, I'm level 40, I need to run all the way back to my home city and purchase my apprentice riding and my very first mount for an obscene amount of gold. However, this is not vanilla, this is Legion. So within Legion, you have the quest, once you hit level 20, just pop up magically. And you are ready to run all the way back, or take a flight path because it's faster, to your home city or to any allied city, because it doesn't matter anymore, and purchase your apprentice riding. If you don't have your first mount, you do have to go back to your home city, unfortunately, because you do need to purchase that one. And now you're ready to ride around the world on your mount. For Guild Wars 2, we see something rather creative, in the fact that the mounts are introduced through the story or through heart vendors, where you are unable to get that mount until you complete that heart or you complete that part of the story. With the raptor, you actually end up in the story instance having to use a raptor which is not your own just yet, in order to move through that story and help the town which just got attacked by Balthazar's minions. So, you're moving through, getting rid of this fire, rezzing everybody around you, And finally, at the end, you come back to the NPC who initially asked for your aid, and he says, the raptor has taken a liking to you. The raptor is now yours. You get to use it across all of your characters, no matter what level they are. It is unlocked as yours forever. Because of this method of unlock, I will always remember the way I got my very first raptor, and also crashing into the wall the first time I got the raptor, because the movement is so different. However, I will also always remember the very first mount I got in World of Warcraft, because of the difficulty that mount was to get. And it is now so much easier to get it in World of Warcraft that unfortunately World of Warcraft takes the loss in this, and Guild Wars 2 earns that point, which officially ties the two. Will they remain tied? I suppose you will have to tune into the next episode of Mount Versus to see. Thank you guys so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.